Hey ladies, I'm Courtney Labrie. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to follow up and come to you guys with a recap of my third trimester. So my third trimester, if I could describe it in one word, it was uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable in my third trimester. Now, there were women that pre-warned me that I would be uncomfortable, but I think that because, I didn't gain that much weight because I was so nauseous, I'm like, I probably won't be that uncomfortable. No, sis, I was really uncomfortable in my third trimester. So I feel like as soon as I hit my third trimester, my ankles swelled up. There was nothing that I could do to prevent my ankles from swelling. I would have them elevated. We have a high top counter and we have bar stools. So I would notice that, like, especially when I sat at the bar stools, I don't know if it was the elevation, but that would bother my ankles. So I would really have to keep my feet elevated, and I work from home. So that was really nice. And I really appreciated it because by the end of the day, my ankles would always be swollen and it would be, again, uncomfortable. I just noticed too that a lot of the things that worked throughout my first trimester and my second trimester did not work in my third trimester. So for example, like sleeping became very uncomfortable for me. There was no position that I could get into that would relieve pressure. I had a body pillow, a full length body pillow, and even that, it was my saving grace from my first and my second trimester. But when it came to like my third trimester, no, nothing did it for me. Felt like my first trimester symptoms kicked back up in my third trimester. And let me break that down a little bit. So I experienced a lot of nausea and vomiting throughout my entire pregnancy. In my first trimester, it was really bad. I lost probably close to 20 pounds in my first trimester. And then in my second trimester, it kind of eased up, but I still was experiencing the nausea and vomiting. I had to take medicine. My third trimester, I felt like it ramped back up again, close to what I experienced in my first trimester. The foods that I was okay with eating in my second trimester did not settle the same. So I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if it was just because baby was taking up more room, that I experienced more nausea and vomiting. But my third trimester, I felt like it was kind of like a repeat of my first trimester, which was really unfortunate because like my second trimester had me on cloud nine. I was feeling good. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can start doing things. And then it was just kind of like I hit a brick wall again in my third trimester. So that kind of was a little bit of a downer for me. But what kept me kind of going was that I'm like, okay, I'm getting closer to my due date. I'm almost at the finish line. Another symptom that I experienced in my third trimester was extreme heartburn. Now, I had a little bit of heartburn in my second trimester, but in my third trimester, it was on a whole nother level. Like even water gave me heartburn. Pretty much after every meal, I was eating Tums like they were candy because the reflux and the heartburn was so bad in my third trimester. Now, this is one thing I feel like people don't talk about, but you let me know if you experienced this. Also in my third trimester, I felt like I was really clumsy. I started to keep a video log and a photo log of every time I spilled food on my belly. I don't know if it was just because like I was a little off balance or what, but I was extremely clumsy in my third trimester and nobody really warned me of that. So let me know if you experienced that. That was kind of like one of those like weird symptoms where I'm like, this is really weird. I was never this clumsy. I'm talking about every meal would be on my belly, where my husband had a running joke with me. He's like, you can't go a day without spilling something. I'm like, I know. One thing that my provider did encourage me to do, and if you are expecting or close to delivery, or if you're in postpartum, I would suggest that you ask your provider the same thing. And that was getting me started on pelvic floor therapy. So I actually started pelvic floor therapy in my third trimester. It is basically to promote, pelvic floor strength. She walked through like ways for me to push, to prevent tearing, and to ensure that, the strength of my pelvic floor would remain intact before and after delivery, because even before delivery, I was starting to feel a lot of pressure down there. And for myself, I didn't experience it, but some women do experience where they, if they laugh, they'll tinkle on themselves a little bit. It's just, I feel like a small telling tale of your pelvic floor strength. I was in pelvic floor therapy in my third trimester, and I'm still currently in pelvic floor therapy just to ensure that I remain and retain my pelvic floor strength. So I do a lot of exercises and just an FYI, if you do get referred to pelvic floor therapy, they do perform internal exams. So fingers up in your hoo-ha to make sure you're doing your Kegels right and everything like that. So it is very much a personal experience, but I definitely do see the benefit. So that was something that I did start in my third trimester, and I wanted to make sure I shared that. A lot of providers and midwives don't really share the resources that are available before and after delivery. So I wanted to make sure that I shared my experience. I had an amazing experience. My pelvic floor therapist, she is wonderful. So I highly suggest that you do your research and see if that is something that you may be interested in or benefit from. So because we were in my third trimester, I feel like I had a lot of fun activities. So we had my baby shower, which I did my baby shower when I was around 35 weeks. Would I recommend doing it that far along in my pregnancy? If I could change one thing, I think I would have probably done it a little bit sooner. I was definitely uncomfortable. I was feeling everything, but I made it through. I had my mocktails flowing. I had my sparkling cider flowing, my little fake champagne. So that was getting me through the day. But I probably would have done it a little bit sooner if I had to do a repeat. Granted, if I had another baby, which I don't know about that. If I had another baby, I probably wouldn't do a full-on baby shower. I'd probably just do a baby sprinkle because it's baby number 2. I'm thankful that I have friends to help me kind of coordinate. They definitely helped me throughout the day. Like the day of my baby shower, I didn't do anything. My friends, they handled everything. So definitely would recommend get your support system, have them do your baby shower for you, and just rest because it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be beautiful no matter what. People are there to celebrate you and your new bundle of joy. So just enjoy it. Another little fun experience was our maternity photos. Now, we did my maternity photos probably 3 weeks before the baby came, and ooh, I felt everything. So my husband had the bright idea to shoot our maternity photos in the sand dunes in California. So not only did I have to travel, but it was kind of a hike. And let me tell you, it was taxing on my body. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna deliver my baby in the sand because I feel all of this pressure. This is a workout going through the sand, but our pictures came out beautiful. So I am grateful that, he had the opportunity to come up with the creative idea. And I wanted to make him feel like, he was a part of the experience as well, because men, they play such a different role. Or if you have a partner, they play such a different role in the whole pregnancy journey. They're not actually carrying the baby. So I just wanted to make sure that he had that experience. So I did experience Braxton Hicks, and that's basically it's not really contractions, but it's kind of like the pre-contractions before the real thing. And it was definitely a warm-up session for the real contractions coming through. I basically mentally prepare myself like, okay, I have to be able to work through these because once the real things come, the real contractions come, it's gonna feel 1,000 times different. I won't say worse, I won't say painful, because it's just a different feeling, a different sensation, the contractions overall. It does hurt though. I can't even lie. It hurts. My Braxton Hicks, some people say their Braxton Hicks are not painful. Mine were painful. They felt like, I was like, okay, if this is not the real thing, then I had to mentally gear myself up for the real thing. So right before my baby's arrival, I did hand express my boob for colostrum. And basically colostrum is considered like your first milk. It's not actually breast milk. It looks a little bit different from my actual breast milk. It had more of like a yellowish hue. But basically what I did not pump. I just want to make sure I'm clear with that. I did not pump. If you pump, that could, I believe, put you potentially in labor and jumpstart like your contractions and things like that. So I just want to make sure that I clarify. I did not pump. I hand expressed colostrum in a cup to help me collect it. And I put it in like little tubes for just in case if when my baby arrived, if my breast didn't actually produce milk or produce colostrum, he would still have something to supplement, as opposed to supplementing him with formula. When I packed my delivery bag, I had a baggie set aside in the freezer that had all of our colostrum dated, and we handed it to the nurse when I arrived to the hospital. I didn't actually have to use the colostrum, but it was nice to know that, okay, if my boobs don't produce what they're supposed to produce, I have a backup just in case. So the last and final thing that I did right before my delivery, actually 8 days before my delivery, was I got my last prenatal massage. I tried to stay on top of my massages because they made the biggest difference. It's just as far as me being uncomfortable, it definitely helped relieve the pressure in my feet and my legs. So I tried to stay up on top of my massages as much as I can, but that last one, it definitely felt a little bit different, and I knew that I was getting closer to my due date and my time to, you know, meet my little guy, bring him earthside. The cutouts that they had for me, I could barely fit in it. I felt like it was time for my baby to come. So that is a recap of my third trimester. If you're expecting, let me know down in the comments and let me know some of the symptoms that you're experiencing. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.